Today I will show you some insane ways to farm raw gold as you level up your character. And by following this guide, then you will also secure yourself enough gold to instantly buy your level 40 mount by the time you reach level 40. If you wish to make a lot of additional gold, then I would highly recommend you to pick up skinning and vendor all the leather that you find. Alright, so the first raw gold farming location takes place in Ashenvale at around level 18 or 19. Here I killed these ghost paw runners. They drop 2 grey items that vendors for a decent amount of silver, and you also get meat that you can use for leveling up cooking. At around level 24, you could swap to Duskwood. Here there's also some wolves that you can slay, and they drop the exact same 2 grey items like before. But the reason why this location is even better is because there's also chest spawning locations and also different veins if you have to level up mining at the same time. At level 26, you could start killing these raptors in wetlands. The loot table also starts to get way better, because both of these grey items vendors for a decent amount. Before, there was an item that vendored for around 1 silver and the other one 6. So the average silver that you will loot from each creature will also start to increase at this level. As a class with silence, kick or any CC abilities, then you could go to 1000 needles at around level 28. But before you visit this location, remember that these can also cast a range ability. So if you accidentally pull a couple of these and you need to run away, then there's also a high chance that you could potentially die. But overall, between level 20 to 30, there isn't that many great farming locations if it's going to be for raw gold without using the auction house. And to be honest, the gold that you make between level 20 to 30 isn't that high. However, this will all change at around level 30, and now it will definitely be worth it to do. And as long as you just do this between level 30 to 40, then you will definitely also have enough gold for your level 40 mount. Starting at around level 30, you could head to Stranglethorn Vale, and at this location you will find different pandas and tigers. The loot table are amazing, and the 2 grey items vendors for a good amount. At least the whiskers, which is more than 7 silver each. The only downside is that these creatures are also a part of a quest, so there might be a high competition for these creatures. Therefore, I usually just go to Desolate instead and kill these scorpions. Not only is there less competition, but there's also way better loot tables. If you look at these grey items, both of them vendors for more than 5 silver each. So definitely a better farm compared to the tigers and pandas in Stranglethorn. Like it wasn't enough, then there's even another useful creature at the very same area. These basilisk has loot tables with 4 different grey items, so whenever you kill one of them, there's also a high chance that you will at least get 1 grey item. The only downside is that this area is also far away from any Alliance starting zone, so you will need to spend a high amount of traveling time to get to this location. If you're getting bored of farming in Desolate, then you can always go back to Stranglethorn Vale and kill these gorillas instead. I usually start this farm at around level 32 and continue to 35. Remember to also kill any tiger or panda at the same time, else you will have too much downtime waiting for the gorillas to respawn. As a horde player, I would definitely not go to Stranglethorn Vale, but instead to Alteric Mountains near Dalaran. Here you can find these elementals that drop so many different grey and white items that vendors for a high amount. The only thing I wouldn't vendor is the elemental earth. This is a material you'll need for many different professions, and if you at some point were planning to use the auction house or trade with people, then you can usually sell the elemental earth for a couple of gold. There's 2 downsides to this farm. Alliance players can't do this, and horde players will have to be aware of nearby casters. This is why I often just go to Swamp of Sorrows instead, when I reach level 35 at least. In Swamp of Sorrows you can find these swamp jaguars, and they drop 3 different items that vendors for a high amount. Here it also benefits you a lot if you have decided to level up skinning. The leather that I vendor usually grants me around 3 to 4 gold for every single level that I do this. If there's all of a sudden a lot of competition, or if it's just getting boring, then you could always swap to Badlands instead. Here you can kill these coyotes. The loot table is pretty much the same as the jaguars in Swamp of Sorrows. at least if you look at the winter price. One big downside of this farm is that it's also far away from any horde starting location, so you have to spend a lot of time getting here, and it can also be quite dangerous. However, if you manage to get to Badlands, then make sure to also pay attention to any of these creatures. The Rich Hunters also has an amazing loot table, so you can always kill these or the Coyotes when you're in Badlands. You can easily do this farm all the way up to level 40, and in Badlands there's yet another creature that also drops so many different grey items that you can winter right away. I'll get back to this creature later in the video. Starting from around level 37, you could kill these exiles in Arathi Highlands. The loot table is the exact same as the creatures you could slay as a horde player in Alterac Mountains, but this time these creatures can also be slain by alliance players. This is such an amazing farming location that you can easily do all the way up to 42. And like I mentioned earlier, there's an amazing spot in Badlands as well, where you kill the same kind of creatures with the same loot tables. Just remember to keep the elemental earth if you're planning to trade with people or use the auction house. And remember to be aware of the level range of these creatures, because they're usually one level above the targets in Arathi Highlands. Therefore, I usually also go here when I'm level 38 or higher. At the southern part of Stranglethorn Vale, you'll find this area with these gorillas. They drop 2 items that I usually just winter. And to increase the gold that you make, or well, the experience, then remember to also go to Booty Bay and pick up the quest where you need to slay these gorillas. If you have either been to Thousand Needles or Desolas, then you're also close to another zone, Feralas. In Feralas, you'll find different bears you can slay, and the loot table is honestly amazing. There's even a decent chance that you'll get a mace that you can winter for more than 14 silver. You might also notice that I'm slaying the wolves, and that's basically just because 2 of these items winters for 8 to 9 silver each. One of the biggest benefits is that there's next to no competition killing the different bears and wolves, and beside this, the grey items we can get from this farm also winters for the most in this guide so far. However, there's yet another creature I would highly recommend you to also farm. It's these basilisk in Stranglethorn Vale. Outside, but also inside the cave, you'll find these, and the loot table are amazing. Wintering for anywhere between 6 silver and all the way up to around 13 silver each, and 2 of these items even winter for more than 10 silver each. By this point, you should now also be level 40 and ready to purchase your mount. For more gold making guides, leveling methods, and other tips and tricks, make sure to check out the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!